I'm Will Hedrick.
And I'm Jordan Schaffer.
And this is Dog Ears and Timestamps, a Good Omens podcast.
Dude, how good is this show, man? I can't get over it.
It's super duper enjoyable.
I went home after this podcast last week and watched
the next episode. Episode 2 this episode.
Yeah, and luckily we did like a little recap before the episode because I forgot.
So
I remember the gist of everything, but now after our recap, it's just like, man, that was so good.
Yeah.
And the actors are all good. Even the kid that plays Adam is great. So
he's pretty good for, that role.
And his age, too.
And at least for, we have seen very little of him.
Yeah.
Because he's, I imagine we'll start seeing a lot more of him now that they know where he is and can find him.
Yeah. When did you watch the show?
Wednesday, I think. Either Tuesday or Wednesday. I watched it pretty quickly, too. I was excited about it. And I had to rewatch it today because it had been long enough that I was like, I should make sure that I know everything.
For sure.
So I rewatched it literally right before you all showed up. I had maybe like 5 minutes between being finished with everything and then you and Caitlin showing up.
Okay, cool. Well, yeah, man, do you want to go over kind of the gist of what happened, or do you want to just talk about your favorite parts, or what do you think's going to happen?
There's not really a ton that did happen.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of just like, they're just trying to, now that they know that the boy they are following is not the Antichrist.
Yeah.
They're trying to find out where he is, and then ultimately they do. That's really all that happens. We also get introduced to 2 new characters.
Yeah, it shows us the good relationship between Aziraphale and Crowley, thank you. And it seems like they have a long just friendship almost. They've always kind of had each other's backs, but we haven't really had, I guess, too much evidence. It just they always seem to get along so well, and they're comfortable with each other. Is the only reason I say that. And I guess I'm excited to see more of that. It was cool to see the kid Adam interact with all his friends too, because he was he was still the leader, but that black girl she was just like, shut up, I'm telling a story, and he was like,
I hate her, she's so annoying.
Yeah,
she's just such a little bitch.
Yeah, I was watching that with Ace, and I was like, yo, she just said that to the Antichrist.
Right.
But yeah, man, that dude, there's just a lot of little silly things in it, and even the dad that plays Adam's the actor that plays Adam's dad he's really good.
I liked him too. The very little that we ever see him, even less than Adam, but he is, he was funny.
Yeah, I think he's funny. Is more
relatively believable. It's just just the kind of standard, just little small town dad.
Yeah, standard dad. I think that, dude, honestly, I know I said it before, but I really like Crowley and Aziraphale's relationship. It's just having them go together to where
to the old church or the nunnery.
That was awesome,
hospital.
Dude. And then she was the old black nun girl that was the one that made the mistake but didn't know it was a mistake. She was there. That was really cool and just silly. And of course, at the end, after they brainwashed her to get her to tell them everything, Aziraphale's and then you went and woke up from having the most lovely dream about
whatever it is that you like.
Yeah, he was just smiling
right.
And then he walked off.
He's just too good. It's hilarious
so
how
funny.
Compulsively he has to do those things.
Yeah.
Whenever they pick up Anathema, the witch.
Yeah,
one of the 2 new characters that we meet.
Gorgeous.
Very, very pretty lady. But whenever they're dropping her off, he's like, your bike look at your bike. It's in great condition, blah, blah, blah. And heals her broken wrist and stuff like that without letting her know that it was even broke to begin with.
Yeah, and when she looks at the bike in the back as
gears,
they're driving,
all of a
she's
sudden.
like, wait, that's not my bike. That one has a bunch of gears on it. I know mine didn't. And then Crowley looks at him like, you healed the bike too, upgraded it. That's so funny. Dude, I like how Crowley he's bad, but he's not out to get the end of the world. He's out to cause chaos, but he's not. Mm-hmm. He's just a demon spirit.
But he's
just a free demon.
He's about as much. He's the kind of demon that I guess if you had to be friends with the demon, you would want it to be him.
For sure, for sure.
Because he's not actively trying to fuck you. I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. Because, I mean, he does, you know, his whole thing is that he kind of screws up stuff. Like, the first time we see him, he's telling the other two guys that he just, like, took down the mobile system in London for the day.
Yeah.
You know, which is, extremely inconvenient and probably made a lot of problems throughout the city. But he didn't get anybody killed. Directly, I guess.
Probably not.
Conceivably, some accident could have been a result of the mobile network being down, but you know, he didn't, push someone off a cliff or something like that. You know,
he's just such a layered character, though, Crowley. That remember when Israfel gets like a splatter of
the paint from the paintballs,
the paintball on his beautiful white coat, you know,
and they tended for 180 years.
Yeah, and he had never gotten a spill on it or whatever. And then he's like, "Well, just use magic, a miracle, and clear it off." They don't call it magic; they call it miracles, I think. And he's like, "But I'll always know that the stain was there. You know, like I'll still feel that it's there." And then Crowley's like,
just like blows it off, and
and then he's like, "Oh well, since you did it, it's not."
Right?
Now it's kind of like
a goofy little loophole.
It's almost like he knows that the stain's there, but his friend cleaned it for him with his miracle. So it's like it doesn't bother him anymore. It bothers him that he had to do a miracle to clean it, but it doesn't bother him that he's like, "Oh, he helped me out. What a good guy." You know, like that's like now a memory. You know, he's just so funny and positive and. Those actors are so good, man. I know we say it like 100 times every episode, but they're so good. And I hate that we're serializing it ourselves. It's like, I'm going to go home and watch it tonight, man. Yeah, I'm going to go watch the new episode tonight.
Depending on how quickly I can get this edited and posted, I may also watch the third episode tonight. Just because I'm just excited for it. And having watched the second episode earlier today, I'm like, already, back into it and like excited to continue watching it.
Yeah, what's our time? Can we cut the podcast and go watch the...
I'm just kidding. We got about 13 minutes of content. Yeah, right. I think we're done.
No, but dude, man, I even think that Adam kid is going to be good. I just like him already as a character. Like the way he's confident as an actor already. He seems like he's into it. Like even if this is one of the only roles that he does, like a lot of kid actors do that. You know, they do one or two roles and they don't go on to do too much because they don't like the industry or whatever. But like, even if this kid does become a huge thing, he might not. But he just seems like he's into it, at least for now, into the role, into what he's doing. Mm-hmm. I like it. He's doing good. And there was one scene where you see the parents of Adam. They're talking in bed about how like Adam's a good boy or whatever.
While he's asleep.
While he's asleep. I was like,
I thought that was a really interesting thing to say because so far as we've seen, he's just a normal dude.
Yeah, he seems like a super
seems to be
cool
a pretty
kid.
regular kid.
Super normal. And the mom goes and checks on him like, okay, he doesn't even have his dog, and of course he snuck dog in.
But then to say that, for them to both, very honestly be like, yeah, he's great when he's asleep. And they're both like,
meaning he's obviously
and then it cuts back to him asleep and, it's making like, really creepy music and stuff like that. So I think that was just a really interesting sort of like almost reveal to be like, you know what, he's actually already like fucking everything up and like he's already like a huge hassle for the family and whatever it may be because we haven't seen any of that.
Nature versus nurture, dude. Is that the point of this show?
Yeah. I think the main thing with this show is that there's not really any stakes in it because it's a comedy. It's just going to be enjoyable. Even if Adam ends up being like actually pretty awful, which he by nature is because he's the Antichrist. So I think
you'd think he really should be.
It's still not going to be like, it's not going to stress me out or anything like that watching it. Like just everything about this show is just straight enjoyable because it's a comedy.
Yeah, dude, Terry Pratchett and Neil Gaiman, I mean, they're gonna put together something silly and a fun fantasy world. Like I forgot Terry Pratchett was in it, and then I saw the intro again, and I was like, oh yeah, we talked about that last time. Terry Pratchett and Neil Gaiman. This will be so, man, dude. I can't wait for to go home and watch the next episode. Honestly,
right.
I can't remember. I think we're done with the Americans. Like I don't think we have anything else to do with them.
I would be mildly surprised if they came back at all. There doesn't seem to be any reason for them to.
Yeah.
Unless they have to somehow get Adam involved with them, because they're the ones that are in a position of power and should be, or as far as what the Satan and his team wants would be for him to be with them, where he can be put into a position to succeed in their task.
Yeah.
So that could play in somehow, where they have to, make them friends or whatever, something like that, But if they don't have to deal with that, then I would have a hard time believing that the Americans show up again. The ones that we've dealt with. The witch is American.
Oh, dude, we definitely got to talk about the book that she was carrying that Aziraphale goes crazy for. I wonder if that'll come into play.
Well, I mean, that's the entirety of Anathema's character is this book, so it'll definitely continue to matter. And then they've already
not Aziraphale's thing, right?
No.
Oh, okay.
I mean, he used the book to find where the Antichrist is, but I think at this point, that's all he really needs from it. And maybe, he thinks maybe I should see if there's anything else going on in this book that I could look out for that would be beneficial. But the book is going to continue to matter, if at the very least, just because it's the entirety of what makes Anathema's family what it is.
Yeah.
So we'll definitely see the book more.
Yeah. Well, man, I'm just excited. What do you think is going to happen in the next episode? Do you think anything big? I mean, do you think episode 3s are always kind of just not meh, but they're never the juiciest episodes. I think it's going to be a lot of backstory.
I think we've been through as much of that as we can do.
I mean,
we've already had 2 episodes of that. And now they know where the Antichrist is, so they're going to go get him. Or they're going to, whatever it is that their plan is at this point, because they've obviously failed in their original plan, which was to be there for the raising of him up to the point of the end times beginning.
Yeah, but then what?
So whatever their plan is, we don't know what the plan is now. So they've got to come up with a new plan, because their goal is still to prevent everything being destroyed. So they've got whatever they can come up with to.
Because he did ask Aziraphale to kill him. He's like, you could just kill him.
Right. Yeah, that's a definite possibility. Well, we've also got everything about Armageddon is in motion at this point. Starting with the Hellhound showing up, and we also got to see War show up and get her sword, signaling her role to begin. So we're gonna have some sort of clash with War at a point, where Crowley and Aziraphale try to thwart her, because she's obviously just going to try and send everybody in the world into a war.
Bitch.
Right. So at this point, we should just be really kicking off, because it was all set up up to this point.
Yeah.
I think whatever it is that's going to happen in this season, certainly with it only being 6 episodes, then this is where it all begins. Really, really begins for the season. Whatever it is that they end up with at the end of the, leading into whatever the second season will be.
How long do you think till the second season? I mean, hopefully it gets enough acclaim. I don't think it got the crazy highest ratings, but it got some pretty good ratings. Not a 5 out of 5, but I think it was a 4 something. I don't think it was below 4.
Yeah,
I'd definitely be disappointed.
Idea.
It's engaging. It's super interesting. I showed it to a few people, and they all loved it and did not want to serialize the show with the rest of us.
Right. I would think that there will be a second season, unless it just literally gets no views.
I mean, it's got some dope people in it, and it's funny, and they've got great writers.
Well, they've come out to say that the season is supposed to end with the book. So it should be a contained story. So there's no real reason for a second season to happen.
Oh, cool. Okay. Well, then it'll all wrap up. That'll be interesting to see how it wraps up then.
Yeah, they've got
I had no idea.
To whatever.
Will.
they must thwart Armageddon. Like,
they must thwart it. Yeah, I mean,
for them to be confident to end it within the next 4 hours.
I mean, or it ends and there is Armageddon. It's just over.
Yeah, and then it just is what it is. Maybe so.
Tis what tis.
It would be. I mean, I say it's only 4 hours, but that's just because the expectancy that has been created in my mind for television, being, the more prominent way that stories are told these days. But you get full stories in an hour and a half movie, so they can do it.
Yeah.
It just seems like not a lot of time for it to be an entire novel's worth, just because of how spoiled we've been with.
I mean,
how
we
TV
do
is the
one in
prominent
6
thing
episodes.
now. Yeah, but I was reading a book,
No, I'm teasing. But I see what you're saying exactly. Like, it's just, it doesn't seem like it's enough to really come to a full satisfying, like, because I want a lot more info about everything. Like, I want a lot more info about the world, the universe, all the characters. And then I also want like a big freaking huge crazy climax. Like, I almost want the world to come to Armageddon, and then I want somehow for it not to.
Right.
And it's like, for all of that to happen, like, I guess it could in the next 4 episodes, but it's just 4 episodes doesn't feel to me like 4 hours doesn't feel like a crazy long amount of time to do that in the most elegant way, or in a very maybe unique way. Like, I'm sure they can do it in an elegant way, or in a way that I've seen before, but hopefully they can kind of do it in a master. They can kind of do it in a unique way, as like a, I don't want to say a masterpiece, but like as a unique piece of its own that has its own very unique story. That's like, oh, I never saw that ending coming. Like, that was so unique. Like, semi-Armageddon.
Right.
I don't know.
Right. I think that. Well, I mean, at this point, it has to start moving very quickly, regardless of how many episodes are left, because Armageddon has started. It is here, and they have to. Now move as quickly as they can to lessen as much of it as possible.
I want a soundbite of you saying Armageddon is here, as like my text tone. It's like, Armageddon is here. Every time I get a text from you. So yeah, if we can get that soundbite, then
right, okay, I'll let you know.
But
so
yeah, man, Armageddon.
They've got to move quickly,
like
anyways.
That in a couple days, or like hours, it felt like. I don't know. Like, it kind of hops around a little bit still.
Yeah, it was because it was saying that in one of the last cards that they gave us, it mentioned that it was 2 days prior to the end of the world, like 2 days until the end of the world. But what does that mean exactly? What is the definition that they're using for what that end of the world is, or whatever? Because, like I said, Armageddon's already started. War's got her sword, and she's starting, her charge. It's, so we're already in it. But so does the end of the world mean the last big war that happens? Or does the end of the world mean, that everything is over? Which is not accurate to how the actual end times goes according to Christianity, which is obviously what this is based on. Because there's like I can't remember exactly how long it is, but it's like a dozen years or something like that everything goes on. It's like they're no longer than that. It's like 36 years. There's 3 periods of 12 years that each of those 12-year periods are a certain event that happens. And this is what they call the tribulation, which is this 36-year period. Or however long it is.
Did it take like Jesus 33 years or something before he got noticed?
Well, Jesus was 33, or in his early 30s for the majority of the stories that you hear about. Where he's traveling the land and performing the miracles and stuff like that. But
man, I just can't wait to go watch this next episode. I don't care what it's about, honestly. I just want more of it. Everybody's so good, and just even dog. Like, dog kind of looks like one of my dogs, but a little bit bigger, like a little bit bigger version of Panda. And yeah, I can't wait. This is a good show, dude.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying it for sure. It is a bit of a shame that it'll probably just be the one season, but that's probably for the best. More shows should probably just do that. before we get more shit like Game of Thrones. It'll be good that it's probably for the best that it's just going to be a single season, because they can just tell the story, tell it the way that they want to, not have to worry about, well, we need to try and make money off of this, so let's stretch it out for 2 seasons or anything like that, you know. But I'm interested to see where the conclusion lies.
Yeah.
Because like I said, do they thwart the end times, or is it just like, well, it happened? When does the rapture happen? That doesn't seem to be something that happens in this show. I don't know. These are all questions that we will find out as the end times progress.
As the end times progress. Yeah, man.
Because really, I don't know. You know, I'm getting into the weeds of comparing it against, you know, this parody of a fiction. So, you know, what is that worth? That's worth nothing. But the actual Armageddon doesn't really have, because the Antichrist has to come into power. Yeah. And a child's not going to come into power.
Hey, this is a... Well, yeah, the child wouldn't come into power yet, right? It'd have to be an adult.
Yeah.
So it needs
That's
time.
The thing is that he, you know, rises up and comes into power and rules the world throughout, you know, the Great War and all that. And then, you know, the kingdom of heaven, you know, defeats the demons and, you know, the forces of evil, and then they move heaven to earth.
Oh, okay.
That's how it's supposed to end.
Is this a Good Omens is a book, right?
Mm-hmm.
It might be fun, since we're serializing this for the last 3, so not this week, or next week. But starting after that, to read and catch up, and then compare the show to the book on the last episode. You know what I mean?
Maybe so.
I don't know. I think I might check out the book, though. I'm not
yeah.
gonna. I don't want to.
I'm gonna read the book at some point.
I don't want to read the book until after we watch the show, but I might pick up the book soon. You know, and try and read it and compare. It'd be fun to see. I think.
Right. Yeah.
So.
I think so.
Especially if Terry Pratchett and Neil Gaiman wrote it together. Wrote the book together. Mm-hmm. So.
Yeah.
I know they did the screenplay and stuff, but.
And they wrote the book.
Oh, that's even
Terry Pratchett's been dead for a long time.
Damn, I didn't know
that. So just Neil Gaiman wrote the screenplay.
Wow.
But they co-authored the book together.
That's awesome.
So yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to continue
book,
on.
I think.
Yeah, at some point I'll read it for sure.
Yeah.
Perhaps we read it for the show. Who knows? We'll figure that out whenever we get there. But I don't know. I think that's kind of all I have.
Yeah, that's me too, man. I'm good. Y'all know how to find us at ears_stamps on Instagram, Twitter, no Facebook.
No Facebook. Too good for Facebook.
Well, I mean, Instagram is owned by Facebook, so we're good.
Basically.
And
already there, yeah.
we have dog ears and timestamps all spelled out at gmail.com. You can search us, dog ears & timestamps.
Mm-hmm.
I think it'll probably come up if you put the word "and" as well, but just dog ears and timestamps. I'm sure we come up that we got a bunch of episodes. Check us out. Let us know what you want us to read, what you want us to watch. We'll do it. Tweet us. I told us tweet us. Let us know what you want, and we'll see y'all soon.
Yeah, we'll see y'all next week, and we'll see y'all Wednesday, and then we'll see y'all next week.
All right.
Talk to y'all then. I'm 100.
I'm Jordan Schaffer.
This is Dog Ears and Timestamps. Go Bruins.